we have pains. We have pains in our hearts. We have pains in our backside. Peace. It's Travis Sotawell. It's Pure Sound Daily Business. Pains internally and pains externally. I find all too often as coaches, motivators, they tend to just look at whatever attitude they have, talking psychological type. If they're extroverts, they talk about the extroverted world. If they're introverts, they talk about the introverted world. If they're extroverts that have been enlightened, they talk about the introverted world. If they're introverts that have been enlightened, they talk about the extroverted world. I got my hand up right now. I'm the last one. The introvert that is all about action, right? Because I've been thinking, sitting around, contemplating the stuff, not doing enough action. So whatever I'm going to say, that's what I'm going to be pushing today, is to do something. Even if that something is the deep internal work. Remember, you don't have to go through these things by yourself. You choose to go through these things by yourself. If you're grinding as an entrepreneur by yourself, you choose that. If you're in a low place right now by yourself, you're choosing that. But if you're listening to this, you're not by yourself. So I honor you. We're here for you. If you need real help, though, I'm not a professional. Please find someone that is skilled and has the compassion and the connection that you need, the direction, the connection and the direction that you need. I've gone through some lows. Went through a depressive state where that depressive state was all about me accepting the world for what it was. And I still have problems with that sometimes. You know, it's really, I'm sorry, it really hit me that weight. Boy, y'all caught me in a moment. It was accepting the people who raised me for who they were. Their faults. Let's get right down to it. Their faults and their flaws. And accepting how I really felt about that. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good to have these very strong emotions about people that I love. You know, people that I respect. But I had them, and I had to go through that. And I chose to go through it myself. I do not recommend that for people. You know, it's tough. It's tough because just what I just say, the people who were closest to me were the ones that I was going at. And I had to get away from them. But where could I go? You know, who else did I have to speak with? I mean, I was still frequenting 12-step meetings. So I did have that. Had a job, so I did get out, so to speak. I think that was the time that out of that I began doing open mic stand-up comedy. But I had to deal with that emotional piece. And it took a while. And it was rough. And why I laughed earlier was because when I really was stepping into entrepreneurship and learn personality type, like in that pocket of time, what I was learning to accept about reality was as I was studying and even studying and watching people on YouTube, reading books. And I am an autodidact. And more, I just hear people that paid a lot of money to get their knowledge and they just really don't know about life. They really ain't been through anything. They really talk theory instead of what really works in life. And that hit me. You know, I'm talking things like, and I still, it's like, I'm like, how are these people this smart and they're still talking about like communism and capitalism, but they don't have a plan. Like you can talk about things in theory, but what's your plan? What are you bringing people to? This is business. This is organization. What value are you bringing to people? Or are you just saying, you're doing it wrong, you're bad, you need to listen to me and do what I say? Especially when the person saying that ain't really doing nothing themselves. So that polish started to come off. That shiny veneer started to come off. As I probably would say, I idolize knowledge. A lot of people do. That started coming off. Like, man, these people don't know what they talking about. You know, there are people now eating off of YouTube, doing big numbers, speaking events. And my favorite comedian, Patrice O'Neal, I mean, they couldn't hold a candle to him when it came to actual philosophy. And it was because this man was living a certain type of life and he implemented what he talked about. And he wasn't perfect. However, he was on the path. And that's why it's so sad that he had a stroke and died, transitioned. And it's sad because we were watching the man grow and develop, not only as an entertainer, as a human being. And I'm saying that I didn't know the man. However, game recognized game. Those of us on the path recognize those of us on the path. That's why it's so important and crucial for us to not allow ourselves to go through this by ourselves. Like, hey, I'm not going to be spilling my guts to someone every other day. But, hey, let's check in with each other. You doing big things, let me reach out. Because leaders, we're the only ones who truly know the pain of being a leader. Making the decision. Building something from nothing. Reaching out and connecting with people. Being rejected. Feeling just tolerated. But then also feeling celebrated. Also making those connections and building those relationships. You know, also overcoming these tough, dark periods we've had in whatever area of life it was in. You know, whether it was personally, whether it was moving into entrepreneurship, whether you was you had a business for a while and the ups and downs of it. You know, these are the pains. And as we learn to handle our own internal pain, the external ain't nothing, baby. Those of us who have been through it know. A lot of people have gone through worse things than me. Tip of the hat, I honor you. A lot of people gone through less than me. It doesn't matter in compared to others. You went through your struggles. We're going to have more challenges than struggles. But we're going to do it together. So what are you working through? And if you're here, I commend you and keep grinding, baby. Reach out to someone, reach out to us. Of course, we have a certain set of skills. Don't reach out to us for things that we're not skilled in. And I'm not going to reach out to you for things you aren't skilled in. But we going to come together when we better. Let's uplift each other. It's Travis Soda Well. It's Pure Sound Daily Business. Peace.